Electronic industry means the industry which produces or manufactures the electronic gadgets and manages the electronic signals and the programs which work through the electronic signals or waves. So it has now become a very big industry, and particularly in India it has grown massively in the last 5 years. In your book it is given 50% growth, but actually it is more than 50%. In this COVID-19 period also, if you have seen, all the industries, all the other businesses, they suffered, but electronics industry continued, because for this now you do not need the physical interaction, and this is the industry of future. So this is a short topic. The questions which can be asked from this topic is, it can be about the what are the electronic gadgets or what are the products of electronic industry. And now the electronic industry has increased its production and its aspects also. So it is not only limited to TV or other electronic gadgets that we use at home. The biggest or the most widespread use of electronic industry is now the mobile phones. Mobile phones are now the electronic gadget that has replaced many other instruments or many other gadgets. You don't need any other thing. One single gadget, that is your mobile phone, is sufficient. So the production of mobile phone is increasing day by day. Every month you will see there are some new mobile phones, some new models in the market. So there are number of products. Recently we have heard about the 5G, that is the fastest network. I don't remember the exact name. I don't remember the exact name. That is some kind of goggles that you put on, and it will give you a virtual image. No, something else. So that will give you a virtual image of something that is quite far away from you, and you will feel that as if you are watching or you are present in that place. So it will be like a teacher sitting at a distant place, 1,000 kilometers away, will be present here virtually. His image will be exactly walking here, and you will see him. And if you don't know, it will be difficult to differentiate whether it's a physical presence of that person or it's a virtual image. If you put on those glasses, you can go to have a tour of Agra and see the Taj Mahal, and the person who is putting the glass and walking there around Taj Mahal, the same what he is looking around, that will be visible to you also. So to this extent the electronic system has gone. So the future is of electronic industry, and it is very bright, because more and more things are coming in its control. So we have to study about the major centers of electronic industry in India. It is Bengaluru, Delhi and Mumbai mainly. Three major centers of electronic industry in India are Bengaluru, Delhi and India. So particularly about Bengaluru, which is called the Silicon Valley of India, or it is called the electronic capital of India. So question can be asked that why Bengaluru is developed as the electronic capital of India, or what are the advantages Bengaluru has to be the electronic capital of India or Silicon Valley of India. So there are so many positive factors which are working for Bengaluru. So these are it has a very sound infrastructure. Infrastructure means the basic facilities or the basic things that we need for a particular industry. And for electronic industry, we need a very peaceful environment. The government should be supportive, and the people should be educated enough, educated to understand this. If we compare Bengaluru with any other city of India, there is at least a difference of 20 years. Something that is already happening in Bengaluru, it will take at least 20 years to happen in Bareilly, or maybe in any other bigger city than Bareilly. The traffic signals and the working of the police, so many things, they are using a lot of technology in their work, and things have become faster. The CCTV cameras. It is linked with the ports of the country by rail and other transport mediums. Bengaluru has the airport also, and it has good connection with other cities of India, other big cities. So this also helps that the people who are working for it, they can frequently move from one place to another. So this has also helped Bengaluru to develop into a electronic hub. It is linked with the outside world through port, and even the seaport is also not very far. So it is linked with the outside world, and this is a good factor. Bengaluru is the largest center of electronic goods production, and it is rightly termed as the electronic capital of India. The other major producing centers are Hyderabad, Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata, Kanpur, Pune, Lucknow, Jaipur and Coimbatore. Among these you should remember at least 5, and these 5 should be, Bengaluru is one, then Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, and one should be Kanpur, because all these are not in UP, only Kanpur is in UP, Kanpur and Lucknow, and Kanpur is more developed than Lucknow in terms of these electronic industries. So Kanpur also has a good development of electronic industry. So you remember these names. Bengaluru is one, then 4 others are Delhi, Mumbai, Kanpur, and one is, not Lucknow, you can, Kolkata. Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata and Kanpur. Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata and Kanpur. Kanpur is an industrial city. Lucknow is not known for industry. It is the capital of UP, but Kanpur is more developed in industries, other industries. Kanpur has leather industry. Leather is manufactured in Kanpur. Kanpur has armament factories and many others. Lucknow is not known for industry. So this you should remember. Then one question that can be asked in this is, what is the future of electronic industry, or what are the advantages of electronic industry? So one by one I will elaborate these points. Why software, or why electronic industry has grown massively in these recent years? If you compare with other countries, India has grown drastically. There are some companies which are now having more share of the foreign investors in India, because India has a brighter future. Companies like TCS, Tech Mahindra, Infosys, you know these names. These companies, Wipro was the first one. the chairman of Wipro, anyone knows the name? Azim Premji. He was the richest Indian once. Now he is not. Then nowadays Mukesh Ambani became, and now he is the fourth one perhaps. These positions keep on changing, but Azim Premji became the richest Indian because of the software industry. Wipro started the software industry, and the first computers in India were developed by Wipro. So this software is managing each and everything now. So software exports have become an important part of India's export. India's success in software has been built on the foundation of public investment in human capital, outward orientation in policies, and a highly competitive private sector industry. So it is not only because of the public sector opened for the foreign investment and the private sector to invest in it. That's why the companies like Wipro and Infosys and TCS started working. Nowadays, anyone who is learning software, if you take the subject, you want to get a job in Infosys and TCS. So these are the factors which help to develop software industry or electronic industry in India, that the private sector had a good competition. Nowadays more and more new ventures are coming in it. TCS is continuously facing competitions from new emerging companies. TCS is a well-established company, but new emerging companies are giving a tough competitions to it. A unique feature of this industry is to export orientation. A unique feature is that you can export it, and it is very economic. It is not something hard that needs some transportation cost. If you have to export some software, suppose you have developed an application and you have to sell it to some company in Germany has purchased your application, so you need nothing. You can simply do it with a click. So that transportation cost is zero. It is not so with hardware. If you manufacture anything, you have to sell it, you have to transport it. So that transport cost makes it costly. So this is one unique feature, that easily and without taking time and without expending money, it can be exported. So in any corner of the world, if a software or if a technology is developed, it can be immediately used by the whole world. We have seen this in the COVID-19 period, that how this helped us all. Many of us, teachers especially, who were not a tech savvy, who knew nothing about using the mobile phones, cameras, and editing the videos and doing these things, they learned it. These things were in hand. They did it. And some teachers have done a remarkable job. If you know, this year, I don't know, remember whether that episode is telecasted or not. That teacher came in the episode of Kaun Banega Crorepati also. Global teacher. That teacher belongs to a government school of India. And he won the prize of global teacher because he used the technology and the methods available and made the best use of it. He distributed his amount of prize among the top 10 competitors in the competition who were after him. So this technology has given us this opportunity that we can use it as good as possible for education also. Distance learning becomes very easy. So a unique feature of this industry is to export, the export orientation, software exports have grown at a rate of 50% per 5 years. This is more than 50%. This is older data, because in the last 2 years, this book is printed 2 years back. If you see the data of last 2 years, it has increased more. Electronic industry has given us various products like television, computer, laptops, tabs, radios, DTH, etc. And mobile phones are not mentioned in this. Mobile phones are the most widely used product of electronic industry. Now we have the smart watches also. Smart watches and calculators and so many other gadgets, and it has become a thing of daily use. Without that, we cannot manage our daily routine. Without the use of electronic gadgets, it is not possible to manage your daily routine. Every day you have to use it. Now we have smart TVs also. Now in the coming time, you don't need a wire, or you don't need anything that the TV is airing some program at a fixed time. It will be there all the time. Whenever you have time, you can watch that program. Just like the websites. You visit the website and the program is there and you can watch it. With the help of these products, information is readily available and can be shared through the use of internet. Internet is now, it has become a necessity, and now it is getting faster and faster. Have you heard about optic fiber? Huh? Now optic fibers are used to make the faster transmission of signals of internet. So there are optic fibers installed from one country to another country under the sea, so that in future anything should not disturb it. So there are some adverse effect also, because it is going to affect the marine life to some extent. So this is the future of electronic industry. New modes of teaching formats have been also developed. This we are experiencing. Smart classes, online classes, which is going on. But as far as education or teaching learning is concerned, this is not going to be a permanent solution. The physical presence of the student and teacher is must. Okay, this can be a substitute only. This can be a substitute to manage the syllabus. If I have taken one class, some portion is left, in the evening I can upload the video, you can listen to it, you can repeat it a number of times. That is a different thing. But the physical presence of the teacher and student at the same time and place, that is needed. Otherwise, this technology is going to replace teachers also. Technology has replaced many people from their jobs. Instead of a person, some technology is used. So the work of 10 people can be done by one person using some technology. But for teaching, it is not a permanent solution. That's why a teacher-taught ratio is needed. Electronic industry has also contributed a lot in space technology. As you know, India is among the 5 top countries who have good control in the space technology. The biggest achievement of this millennium till, it is credited to India.